Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look back at yesterday's racing. I do have a horse that I think should be aimed at the Martin Pipe. I've got one that I think should be aimed at the Imperial Cup. And I've got one that I would hope that they run him at Sandown, but I think they'll run him at Wincanton next. So stay on the video if you want to see who they are. First horse that we'll talk about was Braveman's Game. Very impressive to win a handicap off 159, and he won it really nicely. Pat's Fancy and Grumpy Charlie probably are still ahead of their marks. Both came into it off the back of wins. Yeah, I think it was they were good horses behind, and Braveman's Game still won it impressively. Jumped really, really well, bar one mistake. That mistake did probably talk the jockey a little bit as well, because once he made the mistake, he did drop back to second, but he very quickly eased back into the lead and won nicely. I do like horses that drop into handicaps and gain more experience that way and work their way back up the ratings, rather than just sticking to graded company and continually trying to win grade ones. If there's a race that you can win off a handicap mark, go and win it. There's nothing wrong with working your way up. We could end up with two horses in each race at Cheltenham. If Galopin Des Champs did run in the 2.5, I'm not totally sure where he's going to run, but if he did, we'd have a very good jumper in Galopin Des Champs against a not so good jumper in Bob Ollinger, and we would have in the 3 mile a very good jumper in Braveman's Game against a not so good jumper in a Hoisinor. Be interesting to see who came out on top in both those races. Moving on to the Mez Hurdle, Maryse Rock bounced back after pulling up in the Lanzarote Hurdle, and you'll notice that despite pulling up, she still came out top rated. Our ratings are not solely reliant on form. We still know when a horse should actually be top rated, even off the back of a pulled up effort. Maryse Rock won. Getatonic ran a really good race for second. Did go nearly 5-1 on in the run. I thought she was going to win, which would have been a great result, because she's also finished second back here at Uttoxeter to, I'm on the wrong bit, Lady Adair, who we've advised for the Mez Novice. Lady Adair's form looks very strong. She's come out and won since, and I'm hoping they go to Cheltenham for the Mez Novice. The one I want to take from this race going forward, or I hope they do something slightly different, is Indefatigable. She ran here off a mark of 147, and hopefully she'll drop £2. If she drops £2, she'll be off the same mark as when she ran here in the Martin Pipe Conditional Jockeys, which she won. That's surely what they've got to be looking at, and hopefully this race here, when they ran her in a handicap 2 runs ago, was a sighter. They dropped her back to handicap company at Cheltenham over the 2.5 trip, and she finished a really good second. She was only beaten in the neck by Martello Sky, who's still improving, has now won 5 of his last 8 runs. 5 of her last 8 runs. Hopefully that's where they go back if they get that £2 drop in the handicap. I think they will, because they were comfortably beaten here when third behind Getatonic and Maryse Rock. Moving on, I thought Journey With Me ran really well to win the 2 mile 3. Obviously, we highlighted his race when he won last time out as a race to follow. Journey With Me's now won. Manila Crooner's finished second in a grade 1, and Kilcruit's won a maiden. I actually think all 3 of them will go to Cheltenham with very big chances. Journey With Me in the 2.5, the Ballymore. I did see a suggestion of stepping him up to 3. There's no need. The Ballymore is 2 mile 5, an extra 2 furlongs, and there's an uphill finish. That's plenty far enough. He was on top at the finish, and he beat RTR2, so that's good form. And I think Manila Crooner goes very well in the Albert Bartlett. Moving on to the 5+2, the Kingmaker. Edward Stone was definitely the best horse in that race. Beat Third Time Lucky, who's not going to win an Arkle and is probably too high in the handicap to win the Grand Annual. Brave Siaska, I think, is favourite for the Grand Annual. I wasn't as pleased with the performance of For Pleasure. I thought he went off far too fast. I don't know really what the jockey was doing, unless they were trying to get a couple of pounds knocked off. We have advised For Pleasure in the Grand Annual at 25-1 non-run and no bet. If he doesn't run, obviously we get money back. If he does run, hopefully they can be a little bit more restrained next time. And if he does run, hopefully after running here, the handicapper goes, let's drop him £3 for that. So, it might not be the end of the world, finishing 4 for 4 here. And it might have been a long-term plan to go too hard and get dropped in the handicap. The next horse I want to talk about was Jacomar. Obviously, we've highlighted Jacomar after he finished 3rd of 3 and 2nd of 2. He then finished 2nd in the handicap at Wincanton, beaten by Our Power, and then went to Kempton and won, beating Mr. Coffee. Now, he then went to Cheltenham, finished 5th in a race that was probably too competitive for him just 2 weeks ago, and he finished 5th again yesterday in the Warwick Castle. I think things just happened too quick. Interestingly, you can see that win PR means the price they dropped, it's win price reduction. So the price percentage they dropped in the run compared to their starting price. And you can see Jacomar never went shorter. Dropped out towards the back, was never getting closer, and was closest at the finish. Things just happened too quick. But I don't want to give up on Jacomar at all. I think the handicapper might even drop him for that. And there's 2 races that I think are interesting for him. The first one I would be looking at is this novice handicap over 2.5 at Sandown. I don't think things will happen quite as quick, plus the uphill finish will be good for him. However, personally, I think this is where they'll run him in the... There's a handicap here, 2 mile 4, novice handicap chase, or a Novibet handicap chase, sorry, over 2-4 for horses rated 0 to 135. He gets in that. And he does have form at, let me just load up his form. I think he's been to Wincanton 2 or 3 times and has run really well there, which is why I think they'll go back there. Let's just have a look. Wincanton, he's got a win there. He's got a 2nd there. Did he run previously? And he's got a win there. So 2 wins and a 2nd at Wincanton. You would imagine that's where they're going to go next on 2nd of March. For this 2.5 handicap chase. The next horse, which might be the final horse I want to talk about, was 50 Ball. Really disappointing, finished 12th. Never, he travelled into it okay, round the outside, and then dropped away. Interestingly, if you look at the race, the best performance out of all of these runs was Glory and Fortune last time out when he finished 2nd at Kempton in the Christmas Hurdle. The next best performance was 50 Ball. So it was disappointing to see 50 Ball drop away. However, the trainer has said he was very ground dependent and didn't want the good to soft ground. Needs soft, maybe even heavy. Where can they run him? I think it's obvious. Got to go to the Imperial Cup. This one here. It's over 2 mile. It's at Sandown. Why? Last time it was run on soft heavy, I think. I think the last 5 occasions there's been at least soft or worse. The ground has. It's been soft heavy in places, heavy soft in places. That's got to be where they look with 50 Ball. Probably his best run this season as well came when he was 3rd at Sandown in a decent effort over fences. That's where I hope to see 50 Ball next in the Imperial Cup. The next horse and the final horse I do want to talk about is Top Dog. Great to see Top Dog win the bumper listed event at Newbury. Why? Had previously finished 2nd in a bumper behind Bonte, who we've advised for the champion bumper. Bonte is now 3 from 3, starting to get form franks for her 3 wins. Hopefully she turns up in the champion bumper and runs a big race. So the main talking points from here, I really want to see Indefatigable drop £2 and run in the Martin Pipe. Don't give up on Jacomar. I think things happen too quick. And I'll be interested to see 50 Ball run in the Imperial Cup on ground that should suit him. So thanks for listening. Cheltenham is coming. It's really close now. There won't be too many more videos before Cheltenham. Do check out I think it's 2 videos back now, or might be the previous video, where I do highlight how to go and have a look at all of my Cheltenham selections and all of my analysis from last year's races and which ones from those could be interesting for the Cheltenham Festival this year.